Welcome to the Tamarind Learning podcast, where host Dr. Kirby Rosplock speaks with experts on many topics relevant in the ultra-high net worth family wealth management space. Kirby is author of several books, including The Complete Family Office Handbook, and shares her expertise consulting with families and family offices. Kirby is also the founder of Tamarind Learning, an online wealth education platform that develops practical, foundational learning programs for beneficiaries to help them prepare for responsible stewardship of wealth.
Welcome to the Tamarind Learning podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kirby Rosplock. Today, we're talking flying. Now, this is a topic that I know a lot about only as a consumer and a flyer, but I'm talking to a real expert, and his name is Jim Segrave. He is the president, CEO, and founder of Fly Exclusive. And most important, he is a pilot, and he knows a lot about flying from more than 11,000 hours in the flight chair. So I'm so excited to talk to him today because he's going to tell us a lot about what it means to fly, but what it means to actually start not one, but two companies that are all about operating aviation jets and planes and supporting from stewardess and pilots and flight crews and everything, mechanics, everything that goes into putting those incredible planes up in the air and getting people from one destination to the next. So, Jim, it is so wonderful to have you here today on the Tamarind Learning podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today. Glad to be here.
So I know that you know far more about flying than I do, except as a passenger, of course. And you do something really special that not many people do because your firm provides private aviation services. And I'd love for you just to tell us more about Fly Exclusive, what your firm does, the services it provides, and who gets to fly private.
Well, it sounds like it looks like we need to have you flying private with us sometime soon. But we're in the club member space, the fractional space, the partner space, and of course we also do ad hoc retail charter as well. But our primary focus is in that club card space where someone is effectively buying block time charter. People that are flying 25 hours a year or so typically are block time customers. A lot of times those are customers that are just getting into private aviation and want to get their feet wet and figure out what it's all about, which airplanes they like the most. And the club product gives them a way to have flexibility to kind of experience different sizes of airplanes and what makes the most sense for them, their family, their travel patterns, where they're going. And then they can move in and out of what they want. And they haven't made a massive commitment to a long-term product. And then once someone's been in it and they know where they're going to go, how much they're going to use it, is it a long-term lifestyle, if they will, they're going to fly private from then on out, they start stepping up to the next level and say, hey, this makes more sense for me. I've decided that I like this size airplane and I'm going to use it this way for my family. And I want to buy a product that gives me the best rates for the long term and the best tax advantages that maybe a fractional offers and in a partnership program, maybe in the next step after that. So we fly about 6,000 hours a month now. This is my second private jet charter company that I started. The first one I sold to Delta Airlines. It became Delta Private Jets, and I had a 5-year non-compete, and I wasn't smart enough to quit. So I started a second one, and Fly Exclusive is that, and had a terrific career already. Love what I do, and passionate about the business.
So I'm a novice. I mean, I've flown private a couple times. Honestly, the times that I've flown private is really because I've had family members who are not well enough to fly commercial. So it was only under duress, but it's the most wonderful thing in the world. For the listeners who are experts out there, you know all these answers, but for those that are novice like myself, can you give us a little bit more perspective on the private aviation landscape, just how the industry has changed and grown, and just what's happening? Because I can only imagine from the time you started, your first charter company to this company and COVID. I mean, it's got to have transformed and changed so much.
It's really grown a ton lately, and COVID was, one of the few benefits of COVID is for our business is that it did bring in lots of new customers that wanted to avoid the airlines and the potential of being exposed to the virus, but also the schedule problems or the cancellations that came along with airline travel and the crowds and delays, and being able to control your schedule, fly directly to where you want to go. And it was more than just the people traveling. Even you had grandparents that said, "Hey, I want my children to come see me, but I don't want them to fly the airline and be exposed to the virus. So I'm going to charter an airplane for them to come see me over the holidays." And so a lot of those things grew rapidly over COVID and have been sticking. Those customers are still flying private at a very high rate. So that's been great for the industry.
And so, with the growth of the industry and the more people flying, is it changing the cost? Is it bringing the cost down, or is the cost just going up because everything is going up with inflation and the cost of gas and the cost of everything? And, everything has gotten so much more expensive. I would imagine it's only going up. Or with the volume of people, is it going down, or is it yes and?
Yeah, no doubt it's gone up a bunch. I mean, the price of fuel has gone up a fair amount, but more than that, it's labor cost.
Okay.
There's lots of demand for pilots. There was somewhat of a shortage of pilots for some period of time. That's largely subsided at this point, but the compensation level for technicians and pilots is skyrocketed. Maintenance costs and labor associated with those technicians is gone up significantly. Fortunately, the clientele is largely insulated from that. They have continued to fly even with the increased costs. We have seen very little demand deterioration over costs going up. But it does worry you as an operator. You go, "Good gracious, how far can they go before it starts really impacting the demand?" But at the moment, there's more demand than we can supply. It's the bigger problem today is still supply chain related issues with getting planes fixed, finding technicians that can fix them fast enough, and you end up with more downtime on airplanes because of it. And you have to utilize the airplanes that are available more often, which creates that domino effect of it getting more and more difficult. But it's been an incredible journey the last few years going through COVID and how it's evolved.
Well, your company is just a testament to the entrepreneurial dream. I mean, you crossed a major milestone this year, taking your company public. So congratulations. Just seeing the video of you ringing the bell on the New York Stock Exchange was just an epic thing to see and witness. I've watched it a couple times now. I know a mutual friend who's an employee of yours sent it to me one time, and I watched it just the other day. And you've got to be just so proud of just to see, even in the last year, all these things your firm has accomplished.
Yeah, I went to do that, and I got to say, it was emotionally overwhelming, honestly. And I don't think I expected that. I came around the corner that morning, and I'm walking down the street, I think on Wall Street, and the first time you came around the corner, and they had my banner of my logo on the side of the exchange that's a couple of 100 feet wide or so, and it just gave you chills. And then to have so many friends, family, customers, and suppliers, vendors that were there to support us. I don't think I had any really appreciation for how emotionally overwhelming that would be to be there, and you take for granted, you're in that battle, and that's really what it is. That year prior is a battle to get the thing over the finish line, and you were fighting for so long, and you finally got there, and you think at that point it's almost a relief more than a celebration. You think,
Yeah.
and you get there, and you've got so many friends and family and kids that lived it with you, supported you through it, and watched you do it. It was pretty overwhelming emotionally in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, pretty epic considering where you started. I mean, tell us about these early years, because when I think about how you started, your flying journey and those early days, just give us a little taste of what it was like when you first decided to start flying. What gave you the itch? What was the inspiration? And tell us a story.
I got my license when I was 19. Literally did it just for fun. I had some family members that were pilots, and we got to fly around in their little airplanes here and there, and I got some interest from it. Never had any intention of it being a business. I think I'm one of the more fortunate people there are out there, just because I found a career in something that I love to do, that I'm passionate about. And so working hard was never a challenge, because I enjoy what I do. I enjoy being at the office and loved to fly. But flying in general is a lot like my career, and is a lot of parallels to it, in that when I got my pilot's license, I think soon after, I thought I was God's gift to aviation. I was the best pilot there ever was. And as I look back to back when I was 19 and 20 and just got my pilot's license, I wonder how I lived through it thinking I was so good. And I didn't know anything. I was not anywhere close to as good as I thought I was. And the same thing in business. You are constantly learning. And I think that's what's made us successful, is that we don't think we've ever got it figured out. We're always striving to get better. We're always striving to deliver and find a more efficient way and a better way to surprise and delight our customers, and build a company that's more profitable and hopefully more efficient for them and better priced as well along the way. And it's been really an incredible journey.
Well, I am so amazed, because most entrepreneurs, they have one great success, and who knows, maybe you could have just hung it up after your sale to Delta, and you probably could have just kicked back and flown for fun and gone to the beach when you wanted, some Bahamian island, who knows. But you didn't. You couldn't stop after 5 years in your non-compete. You're like, yeah, let's do this again. So tell me about that, because I'm just curious why you had to get back on the horse. You had to start Fly Exclusive, because I'm sure there's a good story there too.
Yeah, I think there's multiple. One of them is, I don't think my wife would put up with me at home 24/7. And I really didn't want to be single again. But the true story is that I'm passionate about the business. I love what I do. I also have four children. The youngest is still 8 years old. It'll be 11 and 14 next month, and I still take those three to school every single day. And they're going to be doing that for another 12 years, and before the last one goes off to college. And so I'm going to need to continue working in the meantime, because I can't just start traveling. I can't go off to the Bahamas all the time. And again, my wife would get rid of me if I was home every single day. But truthfully, I don't know that I ever fully retire.
Yeah.
When you love what you do, I don't think it's completely work. And I really enjoy it. I enjoy the customers. The business is fascinating to me. As you said, I've got 11,000 hours. And I'm still, when I get in the airplane, I'm still fascinated that I can jump in that airplane and be somewhere so far away, so incredibly fast. Just yesterday we were talking, and I was in Washington, D.C. It was a 35-minute flight up there from North Carolina. I came back this morning and had worked all day before in North Carolina before getting on here with you again today. And even with 11,000 hours, it still is just fascinating to me that I can do that.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I can imagine that for you, it never gets old, because every day you can be in a different place with different folks, but it's like a whole new journey and every day in your business. So it's almost like never gets old, because it's always new.
Well, and you're flying really the who's who of America, whether it be celebrities or CEOs or politicians. You've got everyone on board, and just an incredible group of customers and clients, and that are really interesting, intelligent people. And I think a lot of what's made us maybe so successful as well is building relationships with those guys. And the way I've always approached it is that everyone's got something to teach you.
Mm.
And if you keep learning from those guys that have been successful, eventually you can figure out how to be there yourself. And we've been very fortunate.
So when you think about this business this time around, is there anything different? Is there anything that you feel like I'm doing this different? What is it? What are you trying to do different this time?
What's funny is it's better to be lucky than good,
Yeah.
and this will be a lucky rather than good. When I started I sold the first business. I had 17 different types of airplanes, 53 total airplanes, 17 different types. And that was really complicated to manage. And so when we started this one, I said, I'm going to simplify this business. I'm only going to operate really one manufacturer's airplane. I'm going to have one category and, one light jet, one mid jet, but all in the same manufacturer. And when I made that decision, I said, it's probably going to make me grow a lot slower, but we'll be more disciplined. We'll be the experts on these airplanes. We'll know all the capabilities, the fuel burns, and all of the things that your dispatch and your salespeople and flight coordination people need to know to do a really, really great job with the customer. But what happened is because we did that, we're the experts on those airplanes. And so when a customer had that particular airplane, which at the time that was Citations, Excels and CJs, everyone in the space said, hey, that's the expert. That's where you go. And so instead of it being a slower growth, it actually became a faster growth because everybody said, hey, that was the expert. And so it was a good lesson in focusing and being disciplined on what you're good at and being an expert in the space that you decide to operate in. And that's served us really well and we still maintain that today while our super mid product is now more of a Challenger 350 product. We're still very focused on maintaining discipline and as few airplane types as we possibly can.
That's super interesting. I know culture is a big sticking point for you, and you're very tried and true to your values. But tell me a little bit more about the cultural aspects for your firm that are most critical to how you operate and that shape your mission and your vision. Because I just sense that you have a pretty strict, like, sort of moral code and very purpose driven, and I'd love to hear more about that.
This team of professionals that we have here, I often, when someone gives me an award or I win something and I'm up on stage, I'm incredibly uncomfortable because really they deserve the credit.
Yeah.
I get all the credit in the awards, but the truth is the team did that. And so some of the culture things that have become incredibly important to us that are up on the walls all over in my office are a team of humble professionals, part of a larger cause. We are a very, very large employer in what is an economically challenged part of North Carolina. We're a very important employer for this part of the community, and the community is very important to us. It's been a terrific partnership at this airport, and a win-win for both sides, and it's become bigger than me. Now, what I really focus on and get excited about is building a generational company. And a lot of people think that means that I just want my kids to come work here. And of course, that'd be great, but that's not what I mean by a generational company. What I mean by that is that I want every single person that's here to be proud if their children want to come work here in the future. And so building a generational company is about that. And you can feel it when you walk around this company. And I give you a tour sometime, which I'd love to do when you're buying one of our products, is you can feel it in the people. They love what they do. They're happy in their positions. They know that they're part of something that's driving, every piece of the company matters to the overall success of delivering the product to the customer. And the guy that's in the back that's maintaining the airplane is critical to our success. The pilots that are on the road and how the customers interface with them, critical to our success. But it's every level that people don't realize how it touches that customer, even down to accounting. and walking around the culture. Of course, minutes matter. That's what this business is about. People fly charter because they want to save time, they want to go direct, they want to be efficient. But we have a relentless attack on eliminating time and eliminating cycles and compressing things so that we do it more efficiently. And that culture, it's fun. It's almost a game to me. When I fly somewhere and I'm doing a fuel stop or a custom stop or trying to move, I want to figure out how we can take every second we can out of the process so that I can move a customer. Maybe it's from their car to the airplane on the taxiway headed out as fast as we possibly can. And it's been a fun culture, and everybody kind of gets behind it and excited about it.
Well, culture is definitely set by the tone of its leadership. And I've been told that a recent fractional owner called you out as one of the most brilliant CEOs in the entire industry. So I know that culture is being shaped by you. And I'm not just trying to blow sunshine up your, but I definitely think that there's something about you, or there's some kind of spark. And I'm sure you've got some thoughts from other leaders that you admire, other peers of yours. But what do you think makes a really great transformational leader? What is it that you find helps people get behind you, helps get behind other peers that you see and the C-suite? Because literally, I do think that it does come down to leadership. Either people get behind you or they don't. And I'd love your thoughts.
I think authenticity is incredibly important. And none of us that sit in this chair are perfect, and we're all going to make lots of mistakes, and I have made my share of them. Being willing to admit that, being candid, clear, and learning from those mistakes is what makes you different. And I kid around a lot that this second company, I just want to make new mistakes. I think I made every one you could possibly make with the first one, and managed to overcome those challenges and build a new business. But that's been really successful and grown rapidly. But that team of humble professionals, I really take it to heart. You need to stay humble. You need to keep learning. And as soon as you think you've figured it all out, you're going backwards. The competition's leaving you. And we all are always trying to innovate. We're always trying to learn how to do it better. And I don't think I have it all figured out. I've got a really incredible, smart, talented team of people surrounding me that are encouraged to challenge, everything about what we do to make us better. And I think that's a huge part of our success.
Yeah. So I know that comes from this sort of idea of a Zen Buddhist concept, Shoshin, the beginner's mind. And I think you embody that, like having this sort of humbleness and being very cognizant to always approach things with this sense of humility and like openness. And I'm just curious if you were to be able to talk to yourself 10 years in the past and say, oh, Jim, just look out for, or be careful, or just think about this instead. What words of advice would you give yourself if you could tell yourself something 10 years in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, it's just, the things we've overcome to survive at every step, the things that massively impacted private aviation from 9/11 to shutting the world down. I remember we were shut down 4 or 5 days, 6 days, but that you couldn't fly at all shut everything down. You didn't have anything maintenance. You didn't sell any fuel. You didn't have any flights. You had nothing. I remember going out and I was playing golf in the middle of that. And I said, well, maybe I'll be a member of the country club for another 2 months before they kick me out for non-payment. I wonder if I can become a professional golfer in 2 months. Because aviation isn't going to work anymore. But from that, my office one time was flooded. It was 6 to 7 feet deep, and we pretty much lost everything you could lose in there. Then to COVID, going through that, and I think the stress and the sleepless nights and that you live through that, you can overcome just about anything as long as you don't give up and you keep working it. And we've done that. It'd be nice to think I could have lived with less stress. I might still have more hair. And so I could look back and, maybe I would have taken, better care of my hair, but that if I'd been less worn out doing this job. But I do truly love it. I'm passionate about what we do and delivering for our customers and really our customers and our employees, because these happy employees are what make the company special. And when you're on board, we'll have a relationship, but it's going to be those employees that deliver for you. And if they're not happy, they're not going to deliver the service that I'm hoping that you get from us. And so it starts with me, but it goes all the way down to every single one of them.
Well, and let's just go back to your flyers today. I mean, tell us a little bit more about how you help them determine like what they need. If I come to you and say, I don't really know, Jim, do I need a fractional ownership? Do I need to lease? Or should I be buying a plane? Like how does somebody figure out where they go and what they need? Is there some kind of survey or questionnaire, or do you take them through a process? What does that look like?
What I like to do, and I'm a soft sales guy, which might surprise you, but I like to do an informative, educational sales process, and so that starts with learning about the customer. Where do they go? How often do they travel? How often do they use private? Do they use it just when their family's on board? Do they use it for just when it's business, or both? And how big of an airplane do they need? How many kids do they have? Do they travel with their dogs? What time of year do they travel? And so once you understand their needs, you can start saying, okay, these products make the most sense for you. And to be honest, sometimes we don't have that product. Sometimes it's I need a turboprop. And we don't have anything but jets. And I think it's refreshing to a customer when you say, hey, I'd love to have your business. All we have is jets. You're only flying a 30-minute trip. The jet's going to be astronomically expensive for that trip. You could fly it in a King Air and probably be more economical than what I could, do it for you. And I'd love to have your business, but I want you to go into the deal informed about what we're doing and how that works. And so I think that serves us better. And in the long run, it makes your customer retention a lot higher, because you didn't sell them a bill of goods up front and say, hey, we can do everything. We're not the answer to every single problem or every single customer's needs. I think we understand what we're good at, and it's that discipline of deciding we were going to be the best at this sector of the business and deliver at the highest level for this. But that doesn't mean I'm doing that on a King Air or on a single engine turboprop. We're a jet company, and we know what we're good at, and so we like to educate our customers. And so you get in there, you ask a lot of questions, you learn what they're doing, you learn are they a long time flyer? Have they been doing this for years and years, and in the foreseeable future they're going to continue doing it? That'll lead you to different places, different types of airplanes, different programs, because if someone says, I'm going to be flying for the next 5 years, is a lot different than the person that says, hey, I'm just dipping my toe in the water. I'm not sure which one I want to fly yet. I've never done this. I'd like to do it a couple of times. And we've got a product that does that. But if I take that person and hard sell them to a fractional, this is a 5-year product, and it wasn't what they needed in the first place, 6 months in, they could be unhappy, and that's not good for them or me. So I'm trying to earn people's business for the long term. And you do that by being honest, being straight up with what we're good at, what we think matches up for them, and doing an educational sale, if you will.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And do you fly just in North America, or do you fly transatlantic, trans-Pacific? Where do you fly?
We've got a worldwide certificate, so we are authorized to fly all over the world. We've been operating Gulfstreams for many years now, but we are transitioning out of those into Challengers
Okay.
at this point. The Challenger has the range to do a New York, London trip still, so we will do that plenty. But the primary bulk of the business is the lower 48 United States trips, especially for light jets and mid-sized jets. The super mids will go a little farther. Like I said, they'll make that New York to London trip. So we'll definitely fly some of those. But I would guess that North America, the Caribbean, Mexico, Canada probably represents 90+% of our business.
Yeah. And then you said primarily you're like a jet, like you use the card sort of club sort of approach. So somebody might be saying, oh, I want to sign up for so many hours and sort of the jet card kind of membership kind of approach.
Yeah,
Is that?
the card, which we call it a club,
Hmm.
is money based, and so you buy the club in 100, 200, $400,000 increment. The nice thing about that is it's very flexible. You can
Hmm.
buy that membership, and one trip you can use a light jet if it's a short trip and it's just you on board, and then the next trip you could book a super mid if you had your full family on board, 8 people, and you were flying across the country and didn't want to make a fuel stop. So it gives you lots and lots of flexibility to do that. It also lets you try a lot of products. And so a customer that said, "Hey, I'm new into this. I'm not sure what I like." That's what you would sell them. Say, buy a membership, try us. Let us earn your business for the long term. Let's make sure that you're buying what you want and that the airplane suits your needs. And a lot of times, a spouse gets in the airplane and they say, "Hey, this one's too small. I just want a bigger one." And so,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and if you put the family on board, or you've got kids, and there's fuel stop considerations. Are you flying across the country in a light jet? You're going to have to make a fuel stop. In a super mid, it'll go across nonstop. And so there's a lot of considerations in that process as you're evaluating what's best for people.
That's so helpful. Well, this, as always, has been so much fun. If there was just one or two little nuggets that we could recap on that might be helpful takeaways from our talk today, what might you want to leave our listeners and viewers with, Jim?
Well, I think what any customer that's evaluating flying private is take your time and make sure you're evaluating who you're going to go fly with. Make sure they're selling you a product that you really want. Don't let them push you into something that you're not sure makes sense. And if you are not sure, buy one that try it. Buy it one at a time. Even buy it from us. You don't have to buy our product, our membership programs first. Of course, we like that. But we're perfectly okay for you to try us in a one-time trip, in a retail trip, to see if you like what you got, or buy it in a club membership rather than a fractional. But take your time, make the right decision. You'll be happier in the long run. And the other thing that I would tell customers is, even though you're flying a private jet, and even though we're going to book that trip and we're going to fly it on the schedule that you book, if it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, give yourself a little more time, because ATC gets backed up for
Yeah.
everybody. And Teterboro and White Plains can only depart so many airplanes every hour.
Yeah.
When the whole world wants to leave at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're going to be delayed. And so again, you got to educate your customers. We work really hard to do that and send communications out to them prior to those holidays and say, "Hey, let's make sure that," because the worst thing that we do is when we have someone that's trying to make it to a family event, and ATC is giving you a 6-hour delay to fly to Florida, and you're going to miss family dinner or some child's event. And inevitably in private aviation, because it's what you do, is everybody books it to the last second. You
Mm.
use and that's what it's a minute. Every minute matters. But these big holidays that are coming up, as we're in December and getting ready to have this really big push here, starting in about a week. Give yourself a little more time because I feel incredibly bad if somebody misses any event. We are very, very family oriented here. And the holidays are coming, and hopefully everybody has a terrific break and gets to spend some time with their family, and that we can deliver for you and take you to those family events that matter so much.
Well, Jim, I know you get people from A to B to C to D, and you do it with grace and support and love. So thank you so much with being here today with us on the Tamarind Learning podcast. You have been just a wealth of knowledge, and we've gotten so much good insight about the aviation industry and definitely around Fly Exclusive. So we enjoyed having you so much here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoy being with you and love to do it again sometime.
Well, to learn more about Fly Exclusive, we have a lot more on our website. So please check out the tab on the resources. You can click on the link to get to the Fly Exclusive website. You can also click on the link to get to connect with Jim on LinkedIn and find out more about Jim. And there's so many more cool things about Fly Exclusive. There's more education, more resources, and you can contact them to book a consultation and find out more about how you can sign up for their program, their card. And please subscribe to the Tamarind Learning podcast. And thanks so much for joining us today.